So that is just about a 14% barley wine, right around 14%, either depending on which calculating sheet you use. It's just under or just over. So anyway, yeah, that's why I've only got a little bit in there today. A lot of dark fruit, like caramel taffy. Not a whole lot of like hop presence there, but smells good. Smells the part. Barley wine smells the part. It's it tastes good. It's a little hot, but it tastes good. It's not super hot. I've had hotter. So it's Tuesday night. Tomorrow is Homebrew Wednesday. Wheezy. Woo! All right, we'll sit down and we'll talk about a few things and do some stuff. All right, so that's the barley wine. I forgot I'd look at the total IBUs. It's like maybe 50, 60, maybe more IBUs. But yeah, that's it. Yeah, carved it up this past weekend. Drank the remainder of the Genghis Top Smash beer. So yeah, it's got a ton of like date, kind of dark fruit kind of flavors to it. It actually drinks pretty well for about a 14% beer. So yeah, if it was a little bit darker, you could probably see just like the alcohol legs on it. It's got them, but it's not like a Russian Imperial where it kind of just sticks to the side of the glass, but you can definitely see them. But yeah, also what I've got on tap is the IPL, so it's tapped. But before we get to that, I spoke last week about kind of getting a closed transfer system together. So I've got this set up. So this everybody knows what this is. This goes on to the top of a 2-liter bottle or something like that. So then you could quick carve a 2-liter bottle. So I've got some 5/16 ID silicone tube. This is food grade, high temperature food grade. It's the same thing you'd use for your lines, except it's just smaller size, cross section. The wall thickness is smaller, but anyway. So that would go on this barb, and that would connect to the valve on my SS Brewtech brew bucket. So then you'd have a real short line here. I would obviously here from there would go the beer line, go to the beer outside, and have either a sputnik valve on the CO2 side, or maybe fill the keg up with CO2. I don't know exactly how to do it. I may just put a sputnik valve on it, or you could actually run the CO2 up to my gas post on my tube. So everything should be pretty much hardly any oxygen at all in the system if I purged it and planned it right. But anyway, that's sort of the premise for that. So I've got all the parts to do that. I just need to have a beer to do it with. And right now I don't have any beer in fermentation. So one thing I've got is I've got a side-by-side sample of the two beers. This is the IPL, and this is the Kvike IPA. Same beer. My efficiency was a little bit better with the IPL, so the original gravity was better, a little bit higher, but they both finished about the same. So this one's about 7.5%, and this one's about 7%. So there's a little bit difference there, but other than that, the exact same beer, same grain bill, same hop schedule. And fermentation schedule is obviously a little bit different because this is an IPL brewed on the low side of the ale. This is a lager brewed on the low side, on the cold side of the ale temperatures, and this is a Kvike, which you could ferment that at 100 degrees and it would love it. So I'm going to just kind of sit down and kind of taste those together and kind of do it side by side, and you can see the colors similar. The IPL is a lot clearer than the Kvike, than the Horndal. So let's start with a little bit of smell. BT Dubs. If you take S23 and you ferment it at about 63 for 4 days, it's a very clean yeast. I'm not getting any kind of fruitiness from it. If you read, a lot of people hate S23 lager yeast, but I'm not getting anything. There's very little lager taste to this, if any at all. I said the Kvike, I'm just getting more like stone fruit peach, which I'm getting from this as well because I dry hopped it with, I think it was Mosaic, Simcoe, and Citra. So there's a lot there. But this is more peach driven than this is. This is like a darker fruit driven. Not to say plum or raisin, but it just a lot. It's a lot more meaty, a lot more deeper, and this smells more fresh, more bright. I don't know, more young maybe. I don't know. That's kind of difference between eating like a young peach and an older peach, I guess. This is an older beer. But yeah, the taste, the smell is very similar to these two. Taste. Slightest bit of like a lager kind of taste, but it's a big malty beer. A little bit bitter, but it's an IPA. I think it's about 70 IBUs if I remember correctly. It's clean. It's not quite like a fruit salad-y kind of fruitiness. Yeah, this one is much more peach kind of driven. Peach nectarine kind of. Almost a little bit. There's almost like a little bit of vanilla in this. There's no vanilla in the grain bill, no vanilla in the recipe. This one's not that way. Both are very good. There's just a slight change. I mean, I don't know if somebody gave me two of these and it was blind. I don't know. I think I could probably say that maybe I could pick out the lager yeast just because it's a little clearer, but almost there's a little bit of bread, almost like bread dough smell. But these two are very similar. The Kvike is very good. I like both of them. I like both of them a lot. There's I don't know. It's just a little bit. I'm getting vanilla out of this one, and I'm not getting it out of the IPL. But they taste very similar for, the 7.5% and 7%. They taste very similar. It's very good. They're both body is the same. They're very they're full. It's a full body. But it's like a medium body. But they're very. I've got a pound and some change of oats in these. The small cylinder of oats you can get from the store. That's what I've got here. So the mouth feels great on these. It's very good. So yeah, I don't know which one I prefer, but this one's got just a little bit of vanilla. This one, I think if I did this again and I because I'm an English major, idiot. If I put some coconut in this one, this beer would probably be it would be pretty good, even better. I definitely think coconut would probably be a good one for this one. This one's more old school, but they're both pretty good. I'm glad. This one, like I don't know how much is left in there. I haven't been drinking on it because I'm worried. I gave a bunch of it away right at Christmas time, and I've been drinking on it pretty hard over the last 3 weeks or so that it's been in the keg. I haven't had any since Christmas, so I've been cutting back as I wanted to do side by side. But in the IPL, if you've got fermentation control temperature and you're able to control fermentation temperature, and you've got a beer and you want to do something silly, you want to ferment S23 down at 63 degrees for 4 days, then ramp it up. Let's see, ramp it up to 60. I think it's let's see here, 63. I think is the initial for 4 days. Ramp it up to 68. Let's see, then that'll take you into a week. 68 for 3 days. Then start gradually dropping it down to basically lagering temperatures just to clear it out. You can use. That's probably a typical fast lagering method. I think is what it is. It's the same as what like Brewosophy and all those guys use. At the top of my head, I can't remember all this stuff. I'm an idiot. But yeah, it ferments very clean. Before the dry hop, when I did try the gravity samples, there's definitely that kind of lager taste to it. But it's good. I like it. I would definitely make that again. Speaking of making again, I'm going to take the same grist. Same grist as what I've used for both of these beers. I'm going to take this yeast that I use for this beer. Same hop schedule. I'm going to put in, 6 ounces of Carafa 3. Make a black IPA. I'm going to see what happens. For me, black IPAs, I can't get that. Diesel Pete's burps. I got burps after burps. I've got these. I can't get that real fruity flavor to come through that roast. I can't get it through there. So I'm hoping that the yeast, the Hornindal, will push it through and really kind of drive it home. So we'll have a black IPA with just a slightest bit of roast. Dark color, with that little bit of dark malt. It's not. I'm worried that it's going to be more brown than it is black, but I think most people can agree that Beersmith, the SRM of Beersmith, is not always correct. Especially if you have a propane system. I think at that point you get more of the Maillard effect, and it kind of deepens the color a little bit. Not so much with electric systems, so we'll see what happens. But the difference between 6 ounces and 8 ounces is not much as far as SRM. So, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm gonna do it, and there should be a little bit of roastiness to it, but it should be pretty good beer. I would probably even do it with S23. It's just a yummy beer. that's where I'm at with my beers, my IPAs. I'm not a haze guy. I appreciate hazy beers. I've made hazy beers. I like hazy beers, but I like big West Coast kind of IPAs, but I like them with oats and more like new school type hops. I like a 90-minute hop edition and a 60-minute hop edition. I don't do shit with it until 15 minutes. I'll do a 15-minute. I'll do like a 5-minute, or that's usually at 15 minutes, and that's done with it. Then I'll do a huge whirlpool once I cool it down. I'll whirlpool for half an hour. Then I'll dry hop the shit out of it, and that's how I like my beers. I got really good results. That's how I prefer them. Everything drinks good to me. Raisin. And this recipe's stupid simple. It's 70% two-row, two-row base malt, whatever you want to use, two-row Pilsner. I'm using Avant-Garde two-row. Then 30% Breeze Copper Malt, which is a Carapils variety. It's a C30 in color. So it should help with head retention, but whatever. But it's they don't recommend anything over 30%, so I pushed it as far as I'm concerned 30%, and it kind of gives you that red hue, that mahogany kind of hue, which you want out of a barley wine. But this, unlike crystal malts, it doesn't leave any like sweet residual taste behind. So that's why I'm scratching my head, because this thing went from, I think, about 1.12 down to 1.024. So it got down pretty low, which was about 4 gallons in the fermenter. That's with me doing a 2-liter starter with 1 pack of US-05. So as far as fermentation schedule, so I threw this in with the IPL. So I started this out at 63, and it took off. It was doing great, but once I ramped up the temperature to 68, this thing fucking took off, and it really went to town. So then, it got down to 1024, and it was drinking like a champ. It didn't move at that point. So I went ahead and kegged it, carved it. I've got 2 3-gallon kegs. So yeah, man, this really is. There's a couple guys going to get a couple of these, and it probably a year from now, it's probably going to be really good. Right now, it's really good too. So I don't know. My whole entire brewing career, when I wanted to make a barley wine, I've wanted to make Bigfoot, Sierra Nevada. That's the pinnacle of barley wines for me, and I love that barley wine. I think that's what I want when I think of barley wine. I think of Bigfoot. Another one I like is the Rogue. Was it New Crustacean? It's not quite a barley wine, but it's got the little catchphrase. It's more hops than this. It's kind of walking that line between this big barley wine and a big double IPA. But this really reminds me. It's been a while since I've had a Bigfoot, but there's some sweetness on the nose, but it doesn't finish sweet. But it doesn't finish like so dry that you just don't want any more. You know how dry a beer this big. If it was super dry, it probably wouldn't be that drinkable, right? But this is pretty good. Drinks really good. It's got a little bit of alcohol burn to it, but it's 14% too. So anyway, all right, guys, I've had enough, done enough, talked to you guys enough. All right, this thing's running on 20 minutes of just me blabbering, and All right. That's enough. All right, guys. Peace. Cheers.